Hi everyone! I just wanted to come on here and thank every single one of you for your support, taking the time and effort out of your day to be there and cheer me on with the other girls.
The dirty truth they don't want you to know. The Alex Eala fake news machine is making millions off your idol, and we're exposing all of it. Stop. Before you share that video. Before you send that link to your group chat. Before you type one more outraged comment defending Alex Eala against Sunny Hostin, The View, or Oprah Winfrey, you need to watch this video right now, because what we are about to reveal is so much bigger, so much more infuriating, and so much more important than any lawsuit you have ever seen on your timeline. Welcome back to Court Vision Plus, the channel that keeps it 100% real when everyone else is selling you a fantasy. And today, we are going full investigative mode. We are pulling back the curtain on one of the most sophisticated, most calculated, and most profitable disinformation operations ever built around a Filipino athlete. We are talking about the machine that has been weaponizing your love for Alex Eala and laughing all the way to the bank. Let us start with the video that you probably already saw. Maybe it popped up on your Facebook feed. Maybe a friend sent it to you on Messenger. Maybe it autoplayed on YouTube after you finished watching highlights from the Miami Open. The title screamed something like, "Shocking, Alex Eala's $20 million lawsuit against Sunny Hostin could end The View forever." And right there, from the very first second, the narrator was already telling you it was confirmed. A 14-hour meeting behind closed doors. Criminal charges. Up to 12 months in jail. ABC losing hundreds of millions in advertiser money. The View on the verge of collapse. And a teenage Filipino tennis star holding the entire American entertainment industry hostage with a sledgehammer. It was dramatic. It was explosive. It was exactly the kind of story you wanted to be true. And that, right there, is exactly why it worked. Because every single word of it was a complete and total lie. There is no lawsuit.
And I wish they'd talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason that we're not seeing more help, if I'm going to be frank about it, is because they're Haitian.
There was number 14-hour meeting. There are no criminal charges filed against Sunny Hostin. There is no advertiser exodus threatening ABC. There are no court documents, no attorney statements. No filings in any legal database anywhere in the United States or the Philippines bearing Alex Eala's name in connection with The View or anyone associated with that program. Investigative researchers and fact-checkers searched every major American and Philippine news outlet, the Associated Press, Reuters, ESPN, ABS-CBN, GMA News, the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Philstar, and found absolutely zero reporting on any confrontation between Eala and anyone from that television program. It does not exist. It never happened.
I can't control
it was manufactured from thin air by people who knew exactly what they were doing, and those people made money, real, substantial money, while your blood pressure was rising over a lie. Now here's where the story gets truly jaw-dropping, because this was not some random, isolated incident. This Sunny Hostin video is just the latest and loudest episode in a years-long campaign of industrial-scale fake news that has been systematically built around Alex Eala's rising fame. And the people running this operation have turned it into a business. A very, very profitable business. Investigators and journalists who have spent months tracking these pages have identified a network of tennis-themed Facebook pages with names like Tennis Now Insight, Tennis Spark, Tennis Together, Topspin Central, Tennis Triumph, and Tennis Today that have been churning out fabricated stories about Eala with assembly line efficiency. These pages identified at least 5 dedicated Facebook entities all running the same playbook. They build a massive audience of Filipino tennis fans by posting real content mixed in with the fake. They wait until the fan base is large and engaged enough, and then they detonate a fabricated story designed to go viral. The more outrageous, the more emotionally charged, the more deeply tied to Filipino pride it is, the faster it spreads. And every time you click on the link in the post, you are driving traffic to an external website plastered with advertisements. Every single page view generates revenue. These sites reportedly earn from roughly $4 to over $7 for every 1,000 ad impressions. Some of these websites were pulling in over 250,000 monthly visitors. You do the math.
You look ahead now to returning. Probably take some time to relax, I hope. And then you're going to return to Miami, a scene of the start of people's knowledge of your tale.
Your clicks, your shares, your outrage, all of it was being converted into cash while the real Alex Eala was busy training at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, completely unaware that her name was being used to run an internet con operation. And the Sunny Hostin video is not even the most audacious thing these channels have done. Let us go through the greatest hits of this disinformation factory, because each one is more unbelievable than the last. There was the viral story claiming that Eala had signed a $45 million endorsement deal with Wilson. Completely fake. There was the story claiming Eala was invited to a charity tennis match by billionaire Jeff Bezos. Never happened. There was the story claiming Eala's mother Riza bought the tennis court where her daughter first learned to play the sport. Fabricated from scratch. There was the claim that Eala made a 500 million peso donation to disaster survivors across the Philippines. Not a single centavo of that was real. There was a story alleging that Eala had received a special presidential award from President Marcos. Also false. There was a claim that Eala publicly expressed grief and called for a moment of silence over the death of a U.S. political commentator. Debunked. There was even a story pushed by these same networks claiming that Rappler CEO Maria Ressa had driven Eala to tears by publicly criticizing her for forgetting her roots. That one was so believable, so emotionally devastating in the way it was packaged, that it spread like wildfire, and it was completely, demonstrably false.
Alex, congratulations on your win. What is the key for your rhythm and consistency? And I would like to know if you have a ritual or a specific preparation before you go on court.
But wait, it gets even more brazen than that. Remember the heartwarming story about a cancer patient named Marco? The one circulating on Facebook showing Alex Eala running across the court at the Australian Open to embrace a man in a wheelchair, a fan who had reportedly sold his motorcycle just to watch her play. The photographs looked real. The story made people cry. It was shared hundreds of thousands of times by people who genuinely believed they were witnessing a moment of pure, beautiful human connection. It was AI generated. Marco does not exist. The photos were artificial intelligence fabrications. And if you needed one more detail to make your skin crawl, in the photos, Eala is shown signing a tennis ball with her right hand. Alex Eala is left-handed. The people who made that fake content did not even do basic research on the athlete they were exploiting. And here is the part of this story that involves real, living public figures being dragged into these fabrications without their knowledge or consent. Veteran GMA Network News anchor Mel Tiangco, one of the most respected broadcast journalists in the Philippines, found herself at the center of one of these fabricated stories, with posts claiming she had publicly insulted Alex Eala with vicious, cutting words. Tiangco was so alarmed that she was forced to go on national television during a January airing of 24 Hours to personally deny the accusations and stress, in no uncertain terms, that not a single word of it was true. She said she had never insulted Eala, that she in fact celebrates and prays for the tennis star, and that the posts being circulated were, quote, fake news. A seasoned journalist with decades of credibility had to use national airtime to defend herself against a story that was invented by a tennis clickbait page. That is the level of destruction this machine is capable of. It does not stop there. Just days before this video was made, a new wave of fabricated content began circulating on Facebook and X claiming that Senator Risa Hontiveros had approached Alex Eala and asked her to lend her image to an LGBT advocacy campaign, and that Eala had boldly and dramatically refused, declaring that she was an athlete, not a political tool. The posts went massively viral. They were amplified by prominent public figures with blue verification checkmarks next to their names. The story was emotionally satisfying for a lot of people in a very specific political direction, which is exactly why it spread so fast. And it was, as Hontiveros herself confirmed by publicly releasing a statement on April 1st, an absolute lie. She had never asked Eala for any endorsement. No such interaction ever took place. Eala herself made no statement on the matter and had not even commented publicly because at the time she was on an extended holiday break with her family, preparing for her clay season in Europe. But none of that mattered to the pages running this content because the damage was already done. The post had already been seen by hundreds of thousands of people. Most of them would never see the correction. And this is the part that Alex Eala herself has spoken about directly. After her exit from the Philippine Women's Open back in January, she was asked about the tsunami of fake news following her everywhere online. Her response was measured, thoughtful, and deeply revealing. She said she is aware that there have been a lot of fake news articles about her, and she called it concerning, specifically because she can see how many likes these posts get. She understands how difficult it is for people to tell the difference when they see it online. She cannot control what other people post. Her camp's official stance is to block out the noise and keep focus on the tennis.
But this is one of the biggest crowds we've seen stay this late to see a player play. So what does it mean to have this following, especially at this time of night, especially with it being cold?
But she issued a clear and direct call to her supporters: find reliable sources of news and listen to the dependable outlets. That was a message from the athlete herself. And here at Court Vision Plus, we are choosing to honor that message today by doing exactly what she asked, giving you the truth. So now let us zoom out and look at the full picture of what is actually happening with Alex Eala's real career in 2026, because it is a story so compelling, so dramatic, so genuinely loaded with narrative tension that it does not need a single fabricated word to keep you on the edge of your seat. The real Alex Eala entered this year like a rocket. She arrived at the Australian Open and immediately reminded the entire tennis world why she is different. Thousands of Filipino fans descended on Melbourne Park, creating a line that reportedly stretched several hundred yards through the grounds just to watch her play, and that was for a first-round match. The BBC covered the phenomenon. The world took notice. Even as she lost that opening match to American Alicia Parks in 3 sets. The image of a Filipino athlete packing international stadiums to the rafters was one of the defining moments of the 2026 tennis season's opening weeks. She then went to Auckland for the ASB Classic and reached the semifinals, defeating Donna Vekic and Magda Linette along the way before falling to Sin Yuang. At the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open in February, she staged one of the most extraordinary comebacks of her young career, fighting back from a 4-0 deficit in the deciding set, saving a match point, and pushing the match to nearly 3 hours before finally winning against Alexandra Sasnovich of Belarus.
Part of this great tennis experience here at the Rizal Memorial's Tennessee, time that it has taken back of your screen.
The crowd was in absolute hysterics. That kind of tennis cannot be fabricated by any clickbait page, because no AI can replicate what it feels like to watch a 20-year-old from the Philippines refuse to go down against the world's elite. She followed that up with a quarterfinal at the Dubai Tennis Championships, a round of 16 appearance at the Indian Wells Open, and another round of 16 run at the Miami Open. 3 consecutive fourth-round results at WTA 1000 level events. That consistency pushed her to a career-high ranking of number 29 in the world on March 16th, making her the highest-ranked Filipino in WTA history. Let that sink in. Not the highest ranked right now, the highest in the entire recorded history of Philippine women's tennis. She did it on hard courts, against top 30 opponents, in front of millions of people watching from back home. That is not a fabricated headline. That is a documented, verified, earth-shaking athletic achievement. The Miami Open ended with a painful 6-0, 6-2 loss to Czech Republic's Karolina Muchova, the 14th seed and a former French Open finalist. It was quick, it was lopsided, and it hurt. That loss dropped Eala back to number 45 in the latest WTA rankings as of April 6th. The painful price of losing the semifinal points she had accumulated from last year's historic Miami run. She now has to earn those points back from scratch. But here is what she said about it afterwards, and this is the real Alex Eala that the fake news machine will never be able to capture. She said that despite the loss, she was leaving Miami happy. She said that if you look at her year as a whole, the results were good. Quarterfinals in Dubai, 4th round in Indian Wells, 4th round in Miami. That is not the language of a player who is broken. That is the language of a competitor who sees the bigger picture with complete clarity. Because right now, as you are watching this video, Alex Eala has already begun the next chapter of her 2026 story. She is in Linz, Austria, making her debut at the Upper Austria Ladies Linz Open, a WTA 500 event that kicked off on April 6th. She is the 9th highest ranked player in the draw. She was pictured training at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca just days before the tournament began, sharpening her game on the red dirt under the same philosophy that turned Rafael Nadal into the greatest clay court player the sport has ever seen. If a first-round win lands in her column, she could set up a potential blockbuster meeting with Elena Ostapenko, a former Roland Garros champion who is seeded 4th in Linz. After Linz comes Stuttgart. After Stuttgart comes Madrid. After Madrid comes Roland Garros, the French Open, where Eala is desperate to make her mark on the surface that has historically been her biggest challenge. She won only 2 of 6 clay matches last season. The road ahead is difficult. The hill is steep. And that is exactly why this story is worth watching. Here is the bottom line, and we need you to hear this clearly. The Sunny Hostin lawsuit never happened. The Oprah confrontation never happened. The criminal charges do not exist. The 14-hour negotiation is pure fiction. What is real is a network of pages built to profit off your loyalty to a Filipino athlete, mixing AI-generated images with fabricated quotes and manufactured drama to get your click and your share and your outrage. And what is also real, profoundly, undeniably, beautifully real, is that a 20-year-old girl from the Philippines climbed to number 29 in the entire world, packed stadiums on 3 continents, came back from match point down in Abu Dhabi, and is right now stepping onto a clay court in Austria to begin the most important part of her season. That story does not need to be invented. It is already extraordinary. Alex Eala asked us to be more discerning. She asked us to find reliable sources. She asked us to listen to dependable outlets. Here at Court Vision Plus, we take that seriously because this channel was built on real tennis, real stories, and real pride. So protect your idol the same way she shows up for you every time she walks onto that court, with integrity. If this video opened your eyes to what is actually happening behind these viral fake news stories, then smash that like button right now. Let the algorithm know that real information deserves to win. Drop a comment below and let us know, have you ever been fooled by one of these fake Eala stories? Which one got you? There is no shame in it, because these operations are designed by people who know exactly how to manipulate emotion. And if you are new to Court Vision Plus, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because this channel is where Filipino tennis gets the respect, the depth, and the truth that it deserves. We will be tracking every match, every ranking update, and every real development from Alex Eala's clay season as it unfolds live. And trust us, the real story is always better than the fake one. See you in the next video.
Alex, congratulations, defeating a former champion. Fantastic scenes as well out there, and the way you closed out. How are you feeling after getting the win out there today?